and it could be lights out.
Oh, it's the real deal.
Hey, he looks like a pro boxer.
1, 2, 3, light him up.
Your winner and the new champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a slightly modified Misfits Small Council today as we prepare for Misfits 17 and everything in the future. Today I'm joined by Ben Davis, Leon Wills, Mams Taylor, and actually a new member, the one and only Roy Jones Jr. himself. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here with me. We're missing out on True Geordie and Keemstar today, but I'm sure they will be with us again in the future. An absolute pleasure to have you guys with me. How's it feeling, everybody?
It was great. Good to be in Dublin.
Honored to be here. You know, first paper of the year, biggest event so far, 2024.
And we now have Roy Jones Jr. with us, which is obviously a huge honor. Mams, 2 years of Misfits, 17 events. Obviously, we've had trials and tribulations, grown, developed, improved, got better and better and better. How does it feel to have this much success after 2 years?
You know, eternally grateful. Grateful to the teams we work with, the fans, the fighters, all the efforts, the blood, sweat, and tears, and really, it's taught me on a personal level so much, and it's taught me how much there still is to learn, and there's still room for growth, and it's just the beginning. But very proud of what we've done so far, and yeah, just continue with the evolution of the crossover boxing space.
Mams, I think it's a credit and a testament to you that you've always reached out to people like Leon Wills, and now, of course, people like Roy Jones Jr., to be able to make this an even better space. Like you said, to help you get better at this. Roy, like, what makes you want to be part of an organization like this after seeing it develop over the last 2 years?
You know, I'm the type of guy that I've always been that misfit type of guy in boxing, to where I never wanted to do things the right way or the way that they traditionally do things. So to see moms come out and do something that's totally against the grain, it's what I stood for my whole career. So I love doing things that are totally against the grain, but they work. Because if you have faith and you believe in God, then anything you want to do, you can do. It's just a matter of who has the guts to stand up to somebody and walk down a different street.
Absolutely. Leon?
Yeah, I agree, man. Go against the grain. And we're seeing the scene blossom. It's reaching crazy heights in this 2-year span of being a part of Misfits. And it's good to see. How many fighters have come through the gates of Misfits now, roughly?
Good question, but well over 100, I'd say it's probably 140, 150.
Jeez, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That is quite a lot. And all from different backgrounds. I think that's, to me, the biggest part of it. In most other sports, you don't see the diverse type of individuals that we have going head-to-head, right? If we go to a track meet, guess who's going to be there? Probably track and field athletes. But for this event, for instance, you got a Premier League title winner and a streamer going at it. And that's the beauty, I think, of this crossover scene.
And gents, let's talk about this event. Obviously, when we have a KSI card, we overly stack the card. That's how we do things at Misfits. We make it from the bottom to the top. It's going to be full action, which I think was allowed us to pivot properly when KSI wasn't able to come and fight, obviously due to his injury. But we still have a huge, huge card scheduled. Massive, massive stars. Danny Aarons, Danny Simpson, huge fights. Give it to us.
Well, I think it's a great card. And Kala said it best yesterday. Kala said it best yesterday, was like, how often will you get a main event pay-per-view star get injured and say, okay, I'm just going to perform some new songs for you guys instead? And he nailed that. And I think the hybrid is something that's exciting. We've seen it before where it's actually been really annoying, and we've observed that, and we're like, we're not going to make that mistake. We're going to make sure the flow is right, the surprises are there. There's some guests that I think people are going to be excited about. Also, it's difficult for me to even talk about this without being starstruck, and just Roy, I've got to give you another shout out, because you're such a legend. It's such an honor to have you as part of the small council officially now. I know you're not here with us in person, but I can't wait for your opinions, your expertise, all of that to be a part of the small council going forward as well. you know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
we're excited. I felt a bit grimy just moving on so quick from. Let's take a moment. We have a true legend.
True legend.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
When I saw Roy in Miami, I literally pointed at Ben in between. I said, "That's Roy Jones Jr. right there." And then I found out he's going to be on the small council. It's an absolute honor. Roy, when you're looking at someone who's trying to be a star, trying to develop themselves as a boxer more than just their skill base, which I think is something that you did obviously fantastically, what do you see in a fighter, in a influencer, in someone that is trying to make that name for themselves? What do you see in a fighter like that?
I see people who are hungry. You got to look for that hunger first, because if you have the hunger, then that desire will enable you to connect with things that will give you a better opportunity to know how to enhance your awareness and enhance your presence. So the biggest thing is that these guys want to learn how to enhance their presence. When you can enhance your presence, you make yourself something bigger than life. And if you can make yourself something bigger than life, now you have a platform that if you can become bigger than life, it's a win-win. How could you lose? So it's like, I see these guys as hungry guys who are looking for a way to enhance themselves, to give themselves that superstar caliber with the platform that we have here now.
Yeah, I think we saw in the press conference yesterday as well, with some of the face-offs going a little bit more intense than we've seen in the past. Guys like HS, I mean, that I think is someone that we can see as really a established member of the Misfits realm, and he's a guy that is a wild man. He's got that energy, he brings that heat. What do you see in someone like that, Leon? When you see a fighter, is it too much, or is it right, just right?
HS is HS, and that's what I like about HS. But with HS, I think it's going to take for him to get into the ring, have the fight, to understand the art of boxing and take boxing serious. And that's what I think is going to happen. He'll get that win, get that KO, and think, you know what? Let me do a proper training camp. Let me get discipline. And then his rise to the top will be there.
The feeling he has, or the feeling you have from a victory in the ring, in that capacity in front of millions of people watching you, I think that's exactly what is going to be appealing to HS, and then maybe he'll be like, and what we're all hoping for is he'll be like, okay, let me actually take this seriously. Let me, you know, get disciplined about this, because I said this and I got clowned to high heaven yesterday, and I stand by it. A disciplined HS knocks out Jake Paul within 1 year. Go ahead and clown. It's the truth.
Out of everyone that's probably come through the gates that have no combat experience, he's probably has the natural fighting ability. He holds himself quite well together. He's got power, he's got size. He's Nigerian, so he's got mad strength. But yeah, it's possible, but you never know.
Hey,
he's got to take the game serious, right?
He's got to get by George Fensom. Let's give the Love Island star a little bit of his due. He is taking his time. He said the heart, grit, and determination are my big X factors. We'll see it on display. And raw, natural skill is one thing, boys. But like you mentioned, you got to forge it. You got to actually cultivate it, Riley, into something special.
Well, I think we have probably someone with some of the best raw natural skill that's ever graced the sport with us today. Roy, talk to us about that. Talk to us about applying the skill set versus having the talent.
Well, they're two separate things. Having the talent is one thing, but if you don't apply the work to develop the talent, then it does you no good, because a person who goes to work without the talent but has the skill set and understands what they're doing, they're going to beat you every time. However, we're hoping that this HS will get that bug. And when I say that bug, boxing and winning in front of thousands and millions of people, it becomes addicting. When you get that bug, you want to go do better, because you want to give these people more. You want to keep these people cheering for you. And that's what I think we're hoping happens with HS. If that happens, then we get what we want, because now he can go to the gym trying to give people more. That's what happened with Jake Paul. Jake Paul realized people were cheering for him and liked this, so he said, you know what? Let me go give him something to cheer for real. So he got in the gym, and now he's gotten pretty good. So
I think a great example of someone who's got that bug, and then a guy who's had it, is our main event, Danny Aaron's versus Danny Simpson, right? You're talking about a guy who has performed at that level, been in front of the fans, done it all already in a different realm, and a guy in Danny Aaron's who's really just exploded recently and has said multiple times throughout the week here, Mams, that he wants to be next. He wants to be the face of Misfits next. He wants to keep doing this. Do you see that potential star power in a guy like that?
Absolutely. He's got star power. He's got a loyal fan base. He's got charisma. He's funny. He's likable. He's got all the traits. Look, HS is on the other side. He's the bad guy. right? Danny Aarons is the good guy. You need all different types of characters, but both of them are absolute potential superstars in this space. They have to back it up in the ring.
True.
Because if you're a star, it only goes so far if you're not backing it up in the ring. People still want to see. This crossover boxing has evolved from YouTube boxing, from then to influencer boxing to now crossover boxing. And the evolution of that is people want to watch two guys who've never fought each other and have a laugh at that. But it will never be as big as two guys who have the same amount of clout but can actually back it up with some skill in the ring. And I think that's key.
And I think we have to mention the developments that Danny Aarons had in the last 6 months. We talk about the star power. He has the work ethic to back it up as well. And this fight camp was originally for Bevo, a different opponent, but now he's taking on a professional athlete of 20 years, a premier title winner. That is some serious sportsmanship from Danny Aarons, Riley.
A massively different opponent. And Leon, you've built a lot of guys, obviously. Yeah. Built a lot of fighters from the ground up, and also, I assume, built people that were athletes in other sports. What's different here? Do you find the guy that you can mold from the ground up better, or sometimes is it the athlete that already has that experience that you can find transition into the sport of boxing?
It's easier to train someone who has some type of athletic ability or has been through some type of sport where they've had discipline, they know they're teachable, right? Someone who hasn't trained before, it's very hard. It's like trying to break a horse, right? But with Danny Aarons, he has that desire. When he speaks, I hear that desire that he wants to prevail in this sport and he wants to get to the top. So I think he has got more hunger than Simpson, but we shall see.
I mean, Danny Simpson definitely seems locked in. He's very excited. Shout out to the fan for reaching out to Danny Simpson.
Is it the fan?
Yeah, he set this up.
You're kidding me. The fan put this together? Oh, my God.
Listen,
Big up the fan.
yeah, and then I started speaking to Danny Simpson. He's like, oh, yeah, I've wanted to do this for a while, kind of thing. And he said, the cool thing is, he said there's other Premiership footballers that are now reaching out and saying, oh, this is interesting. What do you think? What's your experience been like? So I think it opens a lot of doors as well, which is something that we're very into, the diversification of the space.
Guys, I want to point towards future stars, guys that are going to make this space better. First, let's touch on what it takes to be a star. Roy, you've been a star for decades at this point. I mean, internationally, globally, and you've kept that light shining for so many decades. What does it take to make that happen and to keep that consistency throughout the years?
It takes a lot, man. You got to be dedicated. You got to know who you are. You got to know what kind of star you are, and you got to shine only in your area, on your realm. You can't be trying to be a star of something that you're not, but you also can use what you have to become a star in other places. I was a perfect example. I have a hot record that was called Can't Be Touched. It sold more records than most artists have sold records. And I'm not really an artist. I'm a boxer. But when God gives you that inclination or shows you a way to take what you have and use it to build yourself up over here as well, there's a platform we got right now that helps you do that. So now having this platform and having these guys realize, hey, I made it in that, I can make it in this too. It's just a perfect marriage. So I love it.
I want to discuss someone that what Roy's talking about comes to my mind, and it's Ben Williams, who's got the new era DJ show that he's working on, the brand partnerships he's launching. The kid has the makings of a superstar, and guess what? We're in his backyard, Riley.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that Leon and Mams, you guys were touching on people that if they can lock in and dial in, then they can really become that star. Ben is a guy that I would say would be right at the cusp of, is he going to lock in? Is he going to dedicate himself to be able to lock in? Guys, let's touch on as well what's coming up. September 14th, we have another amazing card. Female headline again. Mams, how are you feeling looking past this card and onto that next one?
Honestly, I'm a big believer of Elle Brooke. I think, speaking of future stars, she did some insane numbers for a non-pay-per-view against Paige. Obviously, she wanted that rematch, but to me, that was a victory for her to have the draw, get the knockdown against a veteran fighter like Paige Van Sant with a massive name. I think she proved that she belongs in that ring, and she's going to be taking on some big names to come, obviously, headlining this, and I think she's going to carry very well. I think she's a future pay-per-view star for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, she had the bigger moments in that fight against someone who she had the size disadvantage against. She sat her down. I mean, it was unbelievable. We also have the pro tournament coming up, which is pretty exciting. Roy, when we're talking about fighting in a tournament setting and fighting a lot of different people, how does it change your mindset instead of just being able to focus solely on one opponent?
Well, it makes you focus more on yourself, because when it's like amateur boxing. When you go to a tournament as an amateur, you can't go there looking at people. You got to go there looking at you, because you got to get yourself ready to be the best you that you can be, because who knows what's going to show up in the next round or in the next fight. So today you fight this guy, tomorrow you fight that guy. The day after that you fight the next guy. So when you have that type of an environment, you can't focus on who you're going to fight, because that could change right in front of your eyes. You have to focus on you. You get you right, and you're ready for whatever. And that's what I always did.
We have a lot of exciting pros there. We also have the lightweight tournament continuing, Joey Knight versus Little Cray Cray. Talk to me about your most exciting fight that you see on that card.
Mine's going to be L.
Good.
I'm coaching L, so I'm team L, Brooke.
No bias at all from Leon.
None at all. Very on the fence. I gotta maybe agree with that, because Jenny Savage, we talked about the stylistic change with Paige Van Zandt. Jenny's the complete opposite end of the spectrum. She's very quick, very small, and again, a BKFC veteran. So if Elle can check these boxes consistently, take on all types of challenges, that to me is what really pole vaults her to superstardom.
My dark horse is Chris Avila. I think he's just somehow been winning every time he walks in a boxing ring. People are like, oh, he's an MMA fighter. Not anymore. He's clearly a boxer. So I think that's going to be exciting for the pro tournament as well.
Yeah, the Stake Pro Tournament, very exciting. 2 fights in one night. Obviously, the elephant in the room, and we've got Roy here, who's very close to Fez Batista and has spent some time training Fez Batista. One of the nicest guys, and a heavy underdog in this tournament. But imagine that Cinderella story. If Fez could pull off an upset in that, like Fez called me and said, bro, I know because we had a few pullouts of that, the Stake tournament. And Fez was like, bro, please let me do this. Let me do this. I said, bro, I was like, no way. By the end of the call, I was like, this guy really convinced me that, he might have a shot.
Listen, man, if he wins that, you'll get him a meet and greet with Lady Gaga.
Bro, I'll get him on a song with Lady Gaga if he wins that tournament, because honestly, that would be a story and a half, wouldn't it?
That's true.
The biggest underdog story. Roy, how do you feel about Fez's chances? He's got the heart for it. What do you think?
If you tell him that he might get a meet and greet with Lady Gaga, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to beat him. So he is in very deep, don't get it wrong. But if he finds out that he got a meet and greet with Lady Gaga coming afterwards, it's going to be a hell of a fight. Somebody really going to have to almost kill him.
He just keeps resurrecting like Tyson Fury.
Can't keep him down.
That's him.
He takes on my favorite MCU reporter, Aegis Virgo. I'm very excited for that matchup. And opposite is Benson Henderson, a UFC lightweight champion and diverse mixed martial arts background. The pro tournament, excellent.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a lot of fun. The lightweight tournament, Yudi Gang is in the finals, obviously, and we're going to see if Cray Cray, if they have that'll be their third match together, essentially.
Yeah, 2.5.
If he could, but very tall order to get past what is now the favorite on the odds is Joey Knight. Either way, cracking tournament there. And look, coming back to the event that we're doing tomorrow night, right here in Dublin, Ireland, on Dazn, we have 2 of the cruiserweight fights that will be determined as well. So in the cruiserweight championship tournament.
Nobody's doing more tournaments than us. You can scan the QR code to buy that pay-per-view tomorrow night. That's going to be live on DAZN Saturday. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. I mean, no other boxing organization is building as many stories, as many tournaments, as many stars as Misfits right now.
New KSI, never, ever heard before songs, guest surprises in the boxing world, in the music world. We've got a lot going on. It's going to be an absolute banger of a night.
A night of entertainment.
A night of entertainment. And then we celebrate with some Guinness
Yeah.
and Prime.
Pint.
Maybe some prime.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Ben Davis, Leon Wills, Mams Taylor, the one and only Roy Jones Jr., and myself, Riley Osborne. We can't wait to see you there on Saturday. Make sure to tune in for live KSI performance, amazing fights, and everything that you've come to love on Misfits and Dazn. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Small Council. We'll catch you later.
Live on Dazn, August 31st, X-Series 17, a colossal crossover card in Dublin. Danny Aaron's faces Premier League winner Danny Simpson.
Stepping in the ring against the former footballer.
Dean the Great defends his title against hometown hero Dave Fogarty. And Irish boxing sensation Ben Williams is back.
I'm gonna smash Warren Spencer's face in.
Plus global superstar KSI returns with a special live performance. X-Series 17, August 31st, live on Dazn. Buy now at dazn.com.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you live on the Zone X-Series. Let's see some thunder!
Here we go. A clean shot, and it could be lights out.
It's the real deal.
Hey, he looks like a pro boxer.
1, 2, 3. Light 'em up.
Your winner and the new champion,